It's Wednesday and we're back, baby. Well, I say we're back. I'm actually going to take a few days off, spend some time with my kids because it's half term. So I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of my amazing team. This is EveryTrade Behind the Build, episode 31.
It's episode 31. Chris is taking a little bit of a break, so me and 𝗕𝗨𝗟𝗏 are going to do our best to pull this thing together with Hollywood's help. So we've got a lot to get done this week, so let's get cracking.
Yeah, pub now or?
Wait till he stops.
Oh, so five minutes? Yeah.
10 minutes.
Sound.
So we've just had it reported that there's a small leak on the clamshell bucket on one of the grabs. So we've got a full day of booking. So Dale is dropping things now to get over to the yard to get it fixed. Let's see how he's getting on.
So I've been called out. Well, this morning I did, but I've had to get some parts. Some of the hydraulic pipes for the clam, they've snapped off. I think the clamshell itself has been put on the wrong way round, so when they're lifting the arm up to tip the stuff off the back, it's just bending all the pipes and it's caused the 90 fittings to snap off. So I'm here today just to get that repaired and get this back on the road. You know, the grab side of the business at the minute is going so well, so these wagons need to be on the road all the time. So yeah, let's just get it repaired and get it back out. So these pipes, these hydraulic pipes, obviously there's 4 pipes for the clam. So 2 of the pipes will be for the open and shut. So one pipe will open it, one pipe will shut it. In order to get these in the right places, obviously I mark them up with zip ties. So 1 will go to number 1 pipe and so on. So number 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. So it's just dead easy. You know, if you're taking it off and on, because this machine gets the clam taken off a lot of the time for doing lifts and stuff like that. So it's just dead easy for the driver to, you know, hook it back up without getting confused of where the pipes go and whatnot. So I'm just marking them up now, and then I'll get all the pipes back on, rejig it, I'll spin the clam round and I'll get it all back up and running and yeah, back on the road. Right, so we've got everything back on now. Clam is now the correct way round. As you can see, the pipes are now on the front and not on the back. So when they lift the arm up, the clam will automatically fall against here, which is what's damaging all the pipes. So it's now on the correct way. So when they lift the arm up to tip the stuff out the back of the wagon, it's not going to get in the way now. So, you know, it's got new parts. They're all frayed and no good anyway. So we've replaced all of them for new, so you know it's got a lot more life left in it now, so we'll get a lot more work. Let's go, let's give it a test anyway. Yeah, so as you can see now, clam is now shutting, and it's opening as normal, and we're spinning all in the correct ways. That's a nice successful fix there, and it looks a lot neater, plenty more life left in it, so we'll get this packed away and get it back out on the road.
So the drawing office is mad busy at the minute, and I've not forgot about the technical survey that I went to measure up the other week that I've not brought you any footage from yet. But just with a couple of days out of the office, because the drawing office is stacked, like I say, we've just been given the go-ahead on another 8 HMOs. So I've been out of the office surveying them for a couple of days, so everything's just been staggered back a little bit. But the footage will be coming from there very soon. But yeah, we've got a few more HMOs in Liverpool that are going to be a full redesign and renovation. So I need to be starting work on those as quickly as I can. I'm actually, KTM's here at the minute. I need to get in his ear about value engineering some of the existing HMOs, because we just need to look at, you know, best place for furniture and maybe a couple of alterations to that. So yeah, if we grab you for a minute, that'd be sick.
So what do you want to show me here, mate?
So basically what we've got here printed out on the A1 sheet is the existing layout for the one of the Liverpool HMOs. So what we're going to do is I've plotted out some initial furniture locations for the bedrooms, and the main thing is making sure there's no clash or anything, especially for lighting, sockets and all those things, because we've got the electricians on site.
Yes. So the electrical will be a bit more simple, but have you shown any of this to Tom the plumber? Because the only thing I'd check is, are any of these radiators going to clash with where beds are going to go? Is there anything we need to consider there? I would personally get him to run his eye over it.
Okay.
If nothing jumps out, then we'll send it on to the client, and then we can get first fix then, because we're ready for that stage now.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
In other news, you might remember last week's episode we were putting down the underfloor heating over at one of our projects in Cheadle. Nick and his team from Level It are now on site doing a 10mm Texem screed, so let's see how they're getting on.
So Hollywood, how do you find working for TDG?
It's great. I can't even lie, it is stressful at times because sometimes I'm up until like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning editing videos and going to different sites and what have you, trying to get the best shots. Sometimes you will show up at a site to, let's say, film a kitchen being built, and then the delivery from doesn't show up. So
yeah.
It is stressful at times, but it is very rewarding to see the comments on the YouTube page. People loving the production and what have you. So yeah.
Yeah, the stuff looks great. So why did you decide to bring Hollywood all the way to the UK?
Well, I mean, I didn't decide to bring Hollywood here. My parents actually made that decision. So I was 18 years old at the time. I was broke. I wasn't paying any bills. So, the saying goes, when they pay, they say. Mm-hmm. So I had no say in the matter. So that's how I ended up here.
Okay, yeah. And you just decided to stick around?
Yeah, my mom moved back to the States in 2011. She got sick of my dad and she left. So, yeah, and I stayed and I messed around and found myself an English girl. So that's the reason why I'm here.
Okay, good stuff. Love to hear it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to hear Hollywood's story, and he's now a key part of the team, and we can't imagine life at TDG without him. Meanwhile, Dale, as always, is having a mad busy day, but he's just been dispatched to go and do some on-site fabrication over at Project Cranbourne. Let's see how he's getting on. So it's good to see how versatile Dale is. He gets about, that man, but he's well handy to have, because anything like that, he can just get us out of situations, and it's brilliant. Once a week now, we have the pleasure of Alex coming down to Manchester, his second home, to work on some bigger picture stuff that we do, like cash flow forecasting, what projects we've got coming up, and other things. Also comes down and works with Lindsay, don't you?
Yeah, so this week's a bit busier because Chris is away, so we're going through a bit more stuff, but normally week to week we'll just go through the main stuff really, which is the higher level stuff in terms of what's coming in the door, what's going out in terms of money, forecasting what's going on over the next couple of weeks in terms of jobs, workflow, what people are on, making sure we're tracking everything that we should be tracking in terms of numbers, because back in the day, if you can remember what it was like, we used to track, there was no tracking, was there?
It was so far behind, wasn't it? Because the system we used to use used to track the numbers weeks after.
Yeah, because we used to rely on one person in the office who was dealing with. So some weeks he'd have a pile of wage and stuff, and before we had all the software, all the timesheets were on paper, so everyone would be writing paper timesheets out. You'd have to have someone manually uploading it all week to week.
Oh, it was carnage.
But as I say, it was backlog, so when we look at our jobs, we wouldn't know where we were up to at that point in time, because we know we'd be 4, 5, 6 weeks away from even getting it up to date. So we could never look real time and go bang, that's where the job is up to. So now all our jobs are real time, updated day to day, and we have different people who are working on different parts of the financial side. And because all the lads are using the software now, when they clock in and out, it automatically updates the job with the correct cost associated with that job. So all we need to do in the office now is make sure that they're clocked in on the right job, so the right jobs are getting the right money assigned to it. And then we do purchase order numbers now, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. That's slick now. So every order that goes through the system has to have a purchase order, a figure assigned to it. If it gets to a point now where we look like a job's falling behind in any way, we can make a quick decision, can't we?
That's it.
Whether we just change who's on it, move people across to it to speed it up. Things like that are all live now, so it's so much easier to stay on top of.
Because even with the purchase, it also makes things not slip through the net. So like we were getting orders that were coming in and we were thinking who's ordered it. Whereas now if anyone orders anything, they have to come to the office, raise a PO number against the job, and then they get a reference number to use then to go to the supplier with. And if a supplier invoices us and it's not got a PO number against it, then we know we haven't done it ourselves. So it sort of
flags it, doesn't it? Gives
you the cost saving there. And then as Kieran's mentioned then, so we can look at our jobs now day to day and know exactly where we are. And if one job is looking a little bit thin in terms of where the margin's falling away, we can make changes, or we can bring the cost in more by putting lads on price. So say for instance we've allocated someone to fit the kitchen on day work, and we've allowed it so many days to make sure we're in on price. We'll get someone to do it on a price so that we know we're fitting in to make sure we get the job over the line. Or if we have to and we're doing extras, we can also assign a couple of more prelims if the job's overrun to bring a cost back as well. So it's a good way of utilising what's going on and good way of working the numbers, and we can track back then, and then once the job's finished we go on as well and we review the whole job start to finish, make sure the right things have been assigned properly, because sometimes we do get a little bit of slippage, and then we know a true cost then of a net profit on each job. And then because we've worked out our overhead correctly now per day per man, when the lads are clocking in and out, we then week to week we assign overhead onto the job. So depending on where they've clocked in, we'll work out how much overhead's been used up through the week, and we'll assign the overhead onto each job, and then we know exactly then breaking down where we've spent a lot of our time in terms of our main core lads who are attracting the overhead onto the job, and then we can see where we've gone wrong as well. But most jobs now are doing good, really.
Yeah, they're doing well. You can track them now, and the profit's where it should be across the board. Still have little changes we need to make. So sometimes the tradesmen think we're moving them about for no reason. We're not. It's deploying the assets in the right way. So yeah, it makes my life easier. But yeah, it's good. And while you're here, what's good for me is I can pick your head about some of the HMO queries I've got.
Yeah.
So can I crack on with some of them with you?
Yeah, because we got
right. I need to know a few things about locations.
Because we're doing the plans, aren't we?
Yeah, so we're just gonna. Should we finish those shortly?
Can do, yeah. So then the new HMOs that Kieran's looking after in Liverpool, there's a few bits on and we'll go through.
But you've done that many that I can lean on you.
That's it.
Let's go.
So we're on site at our land development, which is over the road from our office. And you remember a couple of episodes back where me and Chris were talking about what we're doing, where we're going to build the unit on here. And Thomas, our in-house technician, has already submitted the conditions and we're just waiting on a note to come through, aren't we?
Yeah, 100%. So what we had done is one of the conditions, like the main one, was to check if there was any contamination, like in the ground itself. So we had a desk study done initially, and then someone came.
So the desk study come back saying that there's a chance of it having contaminated.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because what they found is on a desk study, things up 150 metres away that way, they found contamination, didn't they?
Yeah, there was.
That then forced us to go to step 2, which is
having the on-site report done, which is where we dug 3 different sort of like trial hole type things, and what we did is we took a sample from each of those to see if there was any contamination or what sort of levels of contamination there was in there. And basically what the sort of ground investigator was saying was, you've got to look at the context of the job. So he said, because this is going to be hard standing and industrial, we're going to be concreting most of it basically for the unit, and it's not going to be a kid's garden.
Okay, yeah. So if it was residential, you had somebody to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So if it was residential,
we would have had to estate the ground.
Exactly. We'd have to do a lot more and remedy the existing ground, so to make it safe for, you know, a kid who's going to be playing in the garden. But because it's going to be hard standing and an actual unit, there's no need to actually do anything. And he wrote a full report on that, and that's been sent into the council.
Yeah, so what he means there by hard standing is the whole thing's going to be concreted. Even the front bit there will be fully done. We've got to put a tank in as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which is one of the conditions as well.
Yeah.
And another one was what we use outside materials.
Yeah, exterior materials, which is just a full PDF what we've done. It's basically going to be as, you know, in keeping with the area as we can.
So the units that are either side, we're basically just replicating what they are using the same materials. And that's it really. It's just an easy build to do these units. A lot of people, especially people who I know in property, they just stick to doing commercial units because they're not as they're not as many people trying to hit them and buy them and do them. They're a lot more cheaper to build. And the tenants think that you get into easy to manage as well going forward. It's easier to get them out if they don't pay. And it's easier to service they maintain the buildings themselves compared to residential tenants. But the stuff is a lot more. They get the plans there. I mean, Thomas was having a little check about where things are going to go. Prior, it was on the recovery vehicle that needs to be recovered by the looks of it. It's something that Chris Sport and left for now. But we're just looking at the plans, going a few things that we need to do. And neighbour behind us who owns that land, waiting on him to come back as well about building a fence back in situ. It's a little bit of repair work we need to do on the wall behind. But other than that, that's it. I need to check what they're going through as well.
Yeah, true.
But yeah,
from there it's 8 weeks to get the conditions.
Oh, so how long ago did we submit it? It was a while ago.
That's about 3-4 weeks ago now, so we're probably halfway through the process.
Have they given us a date?
Yes, we do have a date.
Yeah.
Can't remember it off the top of my head.
So yeah, so planning as well, so slow now. Like, you need the patience of a saint when you're doing property. And like, I think if the planning system was done a lot quicker, or there was something that they could do, the government or whoever the next people who are coming in to pick it up, whether it's Conservatives or Labour, they can do something with the planning because it's so slow at the minute. Like, we've had that site now for a good length of time. We've already put it through planning, we've been approved, then there's conditions to be removed. You have to wait again to get them removed, and you know, all the time you're sitting there waiting to get on it and do it. Yeah, it's only an industrial site, but it's still going to be somewhere where a company or someone or a business can take and make that their home. But the same applies to residential stuff. Like, people are trying to build properties for people to live in and create homes, and we know there's a shortage of supply. But yeah, the planning system's so slow. It's like not broken, but it might as well be broken in terms of how long it takes.
It's absolutely insane. There's one in Cheshire East that we've done recently, which took 9 months for a residential householder planning approval to come through. 9 months. It's just, insanity.
And it's just slowing everything down. It just needs to be a quicker process to do it. And it'll help everyone. It'll help the supply chain. It'll help builders. It'll help the owners of the land or the properties. And it'll create new homes for everything that we need. You know, there's a shortage of them. It's a known fact, but yeah, they're just not doing nothing about it. So, I don't know, hopefully things change, but we'll see, innit?
I hope so.
So we hope you liked this week's episode of Behind the Build. Chris will be back for Sunday's episode in case you've missed him too much. But in the meantime, we're going to ask you to
click here for last week's episode, here and here for episodes that you've definitely seen before, but give them another watch because we need the likes.
please.
And here to subscribe.
Yeah, don't you dare forget to like, share and subscribe. I'm out.